So you're thinking about growing a social media. Before you think about growing a social media, there's a few things that you want to consider before you sort of get going. Because what is the reason that you want to grow social media? Do you want to grow social media to get more work? Do you want to grow social media to have an extra stream of income? There's so many different reasons why people post videos all over social media and post content all over social media. You've got to find out the reason why you want to do it. So in this podcast, I'm going to raise a few questions that might come up in your head before you start posting on social media to get you to think about, right, what direction am I going to go in? Toolbox Talks for Electricians, helping electricians reduce stress, gain back time, and earn more money. Welcome back to Toolbox Talks for Electricians. My name is Ben Poulter, your host. If you haven't heard me before, welcome. And with so many electricians, tradesmen, and different types of people posting content on social media, there is always a reason why they're doing it. Because you might just post content on social media just for fun. If you enjoy it, that is the best part. If you enjoy posting videos on social media and interacting with maybe other tradesmen, other electricians, other plumbers, other carpenters, then that's a good reason to post. But with all the effort that it takes sometimes when you're editing a video, you're putting subtitles on there, you're doing all this work to try and get your following up maybe on social media, there's got to be a reason behind it in what you're doing. So the main reason why people post content on social media is to grow their business. And whether it's to grow your business as an electrician, as a plumber, as a carpenter, there's all different types of content out there. And the best way that I think that you can grow your business on social media is posting content about the before and the after. Because you're trying to attract customers that want the work done for them, like basically the paying customers, the people that think, I could get this guy, he's done a good job. I could get him to come in and do the work for me. And they want to obviously go ahead and give you a call and get a quote and get the work done. So what you want to do there is think about what type of content you're posting. Don't post content about maybe the tools that you're using and the little tricks that you know as an electrician for maybe testing, because the customers, let's be honest, they're not really interested in how things are done. They're interested in the result. So if you post a picture of maybe a fuse board, explain to them why it's dangerous. What is wrong with it? Why is it so outdated that it needs upgrading? And then they after of how you've upgraded the fuse board and how much safer it is and neater it looks. And then in these videos as well, go into the importance of knowing your job, knowing maybe why you've used this certain size cable to feed maybe a hot tub in the garden. The customer was happy because I put a hot tub in the garden and it was beautiful and lasted, and you gave a guarantee with it that it will work. And sort of how you work as well, I suppose, as a electrician. If you post content on there but you turned up bright and early, 8:30 on time, exactly like you said you would to the customer, and that'll leave you in good stead. I've got a friend that did a video about getting a new mixer. He was a builder, he went out and got a brand new mixer, but then he also got £100 worth of alcohol stuck in that mixer, mixed it up and drank it. I don't think a customer's going to appreciate that if you're posting that on your social media, on your business page possibly, and you're getting sort of pissed up at work. It ain't a good idea to be able to post content like that. So you've got to think about the type of content you're posting to want to attract customers. Another good idea, if you're going to post content on social media to try and grow your business and get more work, is solutions to people's problems. The problems that people have, like the RCD tripping, and do they need to call an electrician to reset it, or maybe check the sockets to see if you plug something in that's making that circuit trip. Sort of obvious solutions that will help people save money in order to not maybe have to call an electrician. But then once they've tried that, maybe they'll remember that person that did that video that maybe told them to unplug all them sockets, and then they'll say, well, it's a bigger fault. So they'll go onto your social media, find out your number, ring you up and say, look, can you come around and have a look? Because it weren't just unplugging a faulty appliance. Because then within your content, you want to make it as easy as possible for people to be able to contact you. For maybe a link tree page that you can go ahead and find your number or your contact details or your inquiry email to go to your website, something on there for a customer to go, find out a little bit more about you, see what work you do, see if you do maybe EV chargers, because I want an EV charger installed, and someone professional that posts content that's not scared sort of thing to post content all over the internet of their work. I think this is a good idea. Like a lot of electricians that don't want to post things over the internet, maybe because they're not confident in what they're doing. I think so many electricians post pictures, videos of their work that they do from day to day because they're proud of it. Because if you're an electrician, you might well know that half the stuff we do is behind walls and we don't get seen. We put a cover over it, like on a fuse board. You can't see it, beautifully neat. It doesn't necessarily matter all the time if it isn't spot on, beautifully neat with all them curves at the top of the cable, but it's a perfectionist thing. If you take pride in your work and you show a customer, look, I know you ain't going to see it, but I took my time to make this look beautifully neat, they're going to think, well, he takes pride in his work and I want him to work in my house, because every customer has their house and they think it's their palace, because it is. They spend a lot of money on a mortgage. They spend maybe over £500-600 a month on their mortgage buying this property, so they want someone in there they can trust. And I know that there's a lot of guys out there that, yeah, they don't mind posting content of their work. They might have done an outside socket, they might have wired a hot tub up, but they're not necessarily comfortable in posting pictures of themselves. Do it. Just do a video of yourself in it. Make sure you're in that video. Talk about what you're doing, because that will help a customer get the know, like and trust factor of yourself sort of thing. So when you turn up, they'll recognise you and say, yeah, I saw your video. And they'll appreciate you sort of being there and you're being confident. If you're being out there, you're getting your face on the camera, then that will help people sort of warm to you and trust you a lot more. Using social media to grow a business is, I think, 10 times better than maybe the old ways. I've mentioned it before, where I've posted out thousands of leaflets and got about 2 jobs. Bit of a waste of time in my eyes, so I'll never do leaflets again. I don't really carry business cards now. I've got a few business cards from years ago that I printed that I never really handed out. People sort of get my number now through word of mouth, and that's been working fantastically for me over 20 years. So there can be another avenue, or another reason, I suppose, why you're posting content on social media: to grow your own brand, to have another addition of a stream of income, to get paid for your content creation. Because all different platforms, they pay for people to create content, like on YouTube, on TikTok, on Facebook. They all pay a creator to create videos, because obviously more videos you create, they can put adverts in between them, so they pay you for that benefit. Even on podcasts like this, they pay for putting advertisements inside your podcast. And I think this is the better way for people to advertise their products these days, because I don't know, I haven't read a newspaper in a long time. You used to get the newspaper, go to the back, and you'd see all these deals that you could get on maybe tools or holidays in the back of this newspaper. But people don't see that anymore. The new way to get news or to get information is through social media. So that is the best way for people to promote their items, by using people like yourself that use it every day. So if you want to grow a following for basically another stream of income for your maybe electrical business, plastering business, any sort of tradesman business, then create content that will help electricians. Maybe electricians get better in what they're doing. Like, I've got plenty of videos on my YouTube channel about how to wire a heating control or how to fault find. There's certain videos on there that will help electricians get better. This is the whole point of me creating content online, is because I want to help electricians. Because over 20 years that I've grown a business, I think, yeah, I've done quite well, and I think it's quite easy. There hasn't been a time where I've ever been out of work. So what I've done, and what I can show other people to do that will help them not be out of work. And this is the thing, it's not an easy fix. If you're looking for an easy fix to get plenty of work, then yeah, it's not going to happen. Maybe get a job, because that's an easy fix, because you're guaranteed to get paid all the time and on time and things like that. But running your own business does take time, and it takes you to do the right steps. There's just this one thing that I think is so important that I've done over the years is an email newsletter. Every time you send someone an invoice or a quote, you're going to have their email. You don't send it in the post anymore. I haven't sent a quote in the post for, I don't even remember how long. It's been so many years. So you send them it via email, and you've got their email, and you can just keep in contact with them. I call them email nails. You can just show them new products that are on the market. You can just keep in contact with them, maybe asking for a review on Google. There's so many different ways that you can utilize using email from one customer, because one customer, they can tell 10 other customers, and then 10 customers can tell another 10 customers. And I think that's what's happened with me over the years. People always say to me, so-and-so gave me your number, so-and-so gave me your number. Well, okay, that's great, because I know that person, and I think that's fantastic that they're talking about me to give my number on. So in a similar effect of how you're creating content for maybe customers to see the before and after, create content of the before and after of how you did the job. Maybe in a little bit more detail of what tools you use to drill through the joists, of what tools you use to run cable. You must know as an electrician, sometimes cable drums just fly everywhere and it's a bleeding nightmare. So if you've got a certain cable roller and someone sees that video, they'll think, that's a good cable roller, I want to get one of them. And they'll use your recommendation and then start to follow you as well with all your other recommendations. They think this guy's got a good amount of kit. There's so many people niching down on social media. Like there's a guy that does EV chargers. There's a guy that does LED lighting, heating controls. There's even a guy that does accidents. Basically, I think he electrocutes himself all the time, but he's grown such a following on YouTube. And YouTube reward him for that. They put adverts in his content and he gets paid. So yes, he's got another stream of income on top of him electrocuting himself maybe. So yeah, I think he should get paid for electrocuting himself quite a lot. And I have had a few guys reach out and talk to me and say, but what if you say something wrong in your video that's not completely right? Well, then you learn by it. Who cares? Like, this is the thing. If you create content and other electricians come on there and give you some advice, well, surely that's a bonus, because you only do something wrong once. And with the more content you create and the more valuable that people see it, the followers will grow. And then you'll get brands reaching out saying, excuse me, can I give you some kit and you maybe wear it or use it in your videos? And the equipment that they send you, you can use on jobs. And in that way, that will save you buying the materials. Just like cable, for example. If you've got a rewire to do and someone reaches out and says, look, can I give you 3 drums of 1.5 cable? Well, you're okay. That's saving you around £100. So in effect, you're getting paid for the content you're creating just by using somebody's brand. Because when you first start out, don't always assume that you're going to be making a lot of money. Basically, as electricians, yeah, we earn quite good money. So don't assume that, yeah, this social media side of things is going to be earning me thousands of pounds. There's so many different ways that you can make money with the content you create. But when you first start out, you're probably not going to be making much money at all. And some people get it into their head that, yeah, there's so many electricians creating content out there. Do we really need another one? There is so many electricians out there. But some of them, maybe you've watched and you think, oh my God, that's a bit of a cowboy job. That's a bit terrible. Or I wouldn't have done it like that. I was told by a millionaire years ago that you don't have to have your own idea. Take someone else's idea and make it better. And that's exactly what you can do. Don't be one of these trolls that go on there and say, hey, you did that wrong. That was terrible. That was horrible. You're a rubbish electrician. You're cowboy. You can't even be qualified. These are the type of comments I get sometimes. But then just do another video. And then people might come over and follow you instead of following the person that maybe did the job a little bit different. But again, if you're trying to grow a following online through creating content as an electrician, a carpenter, or a plumber, or anything like that, then have an email where people can reach out to you. Answer your comments, engage with the people that are commenting on your video, because these are the people that are following you, and these are the people that are watching your videos that maybe the social media platforms are paying you. So you want to let them know that you're there and you're that person that's going to answer the comment. If someone asks you a question, a lot of the time I get asked questions, where do you get this from? Where do you get that from? Or how can I start? How can I how can I become a qualified electrician? Well, there's so many different avenues. There's a podcast on that. Everything that I create is through questions from other electricians, because I don't know like how to get an apprentice. I think back in the day, in late 90s, even early 90s, whenever I got my apprenticeship, I didn't find it hard at all. I had 2 apprenticeships. I was a mechanic for a year, and then I jacked that in, and then obviously got an electrician apprenticeship. So I found it quite easy. But I think this day and age, it is difficult for lads to go out and get an apprenticeship. So I created a podcast around what I would do in this day and age. If I was going to get an apprenticeship, I wouldn't just send emails out, because I get emails all the time from lads. They must find me on Google or yell.com or something like that, and they just send you an email. Well, that's not very personal. I'd want to have people maybe ring me up and say, look, can we go for a cup of coffee, see what it's like, and maybe then you could venture in to say, look, could I get an apprenticeship, or could you recommend me to anyone that's looking for an apprentice? That's a lot personal way. You put a little bit more effort in, you get a lot more success. So before you go ahead and start building a brand online, have a think about where you want this to go. What is the reason you're doing it? Do you want to help other electricians, or do you want to review tools? That would be fantastic, because people are going to love you reviewing tools. They will constantly give you tools to review. But then sometimes don't say they're fantastic if the pants. I've got so many tools that people have sent me that I don't really want to do a video with, because maybe they're dangerous or just bleeding useless. So I wouldn't use them myself, but be confident and original in effect to say, look, I use these tools, these are quite good. And you can also say, look, I've used these tools, these are no good. But have some sort of direction of where you want to go. I always think if you've failed to plan, you plan to fail. Then have a little look, and you can compare it like a sat nav as well. When you're going somewhere, if you're creating something, you're putting that postcode in and you're following the sat nav to it. Have an idea of what you want to get out of creating content. Personally, for myself, like with this podcast and the Toolbox Talks for Electricians, it's all about helping electricians get more business and getting better at being an electrician. Just giving back to society, I suppose, sort of thing, something like that. Giving back to maybe lads that want to become electricians, because I have heard on the grapevine or all over the place that there's a shortage of tradesmen. Well, then learn to become a tradesman. And I think that there's so many, I don't know how to say it, but there's been bad sparks out there that are pretty pants at their job. And I think that maybe some of my content can help them become better. And if there's any incentive to help you become better, is to earn more money. And this is the thing, if you can get good at your job and more be niched down, maybe on EV chargers, anything like that, and you become known for that guy that can fix EV chargers or install EV chargers, and you've got inundated amount of work or inundated amount of inquiries, I think that you can pick a number and sort of put that on your quote and just charge whatever you want, and that'll help you earn more money. I'm not saying that this will happen overnight. I'll get a lot of customers call me up maybe and say, look, can you do this job for me? I know you're not cheap, Ben. I know, just don't rip me off. I don't rip people off. I just probably charge a fair amount for what I think I'm worth, like for doing the work, what it's worth to me. Because if someone doesn't have a job done for maybe £500, they'll be next door neighbour will more likely have it done, and the 3 doors down will have it done for £500. There has been before where people I've done work for, and I've done the whole house, rewired near enough the whole house, but they thought that's quite expensive. So they went and got somebody else to come in, and they're not happy with them. A few months later, they'll phone me up, get me to come around saying, look, just rip out what he's done. It doesn't work properly. It's completely wrong. We should have called you in the first place. Don't care how much it costs. Can you just get it fixed? Like, yeah, sure. But you got to wait, obviously. But then that's a good feeling sometimes, that they just trust you to say, look, you've done a good job to start with. Can you just do a good job again? And that'll sort of guarantee that customer will ring you, well, throughout their life. They'll always ring you. You'll be there, known as their electrician. And that's what a lot of things happen with tradesmen. I've got a good electrician. I've got a good guy. And they recommend you to their friends and family as well. And that's what blows up your business. Because I have before as well, I have done work cheap and done so much work. I've been known as a good electrician. So I'd had so much work and I had no time. It wound me up. So I just took a step back, put my prices up to some customers that I've worked for years. They don't ring me anymore, but then there's plenty of customers that do. So it gave me a little bit more time. I earned the same amount of money, but had a lot more time to do things like a podcast. And this is exactly what I do. I don't know if you noticed, but none of my videos, none of my content ever say, call me if you need me to install your LED lights. Call me if you need me to rewire your house. Because I'm not really interested in people all over ringing me up to have work done. I have enough phone calls a week to be able to carry on the work that I do. So the content that I create and put out there is to try and help electricians become better too, because then hopefully I can recommend them in their area, like of the UK. I can say, look, I haven't got time to do the work, but give this guy a ring. And thinking about that, it could be an idea to maybe employ other electricians all around the country to do loads of work. But I've not really got interest in that either. I have had employees before where it was pretty stressful. I like to lead a little bit of a stress-free life and quite chilled out. So I don't want to employ people anymore. I'd rather just give people the work and they can do that. I remember 2 or 3 years ago, I sort of quit being an electrician. And then I gave all my work to one Sparky. Well, he ended up emigrating to Australia. So I think it might have stressed him out as well. Because I find that's the thing as well. With being an electrician and growing a business, like when I was closing down my business a few years ago, they said, like, why don't you sell it? Sell your business. Because the customers that I do work for, they like me. They like me turning up. They like me being punctual. They like me around their house and they trust me. So it's difficult to be able to say, right, I'll sell my business, I'll sell my phone, and that customer's just got to deal with whoever else turns up. So I don't think being a self-employed electrician, it's a good idea to possibly just sell your contacts like that, just sell your customers. It sort of wasn't an option for me. So this is why I turned to social media to create a podcast around helping other electricians to reduce stress, to gain back time, and to earn more money. Exactly what I wanted to do when I sort of quit being an electrician for a bit. I just wanted to reduce stress and I wanted more time. But as an electrician, you get used to earning good money. So I still wanted that. So I had to create another avenue to earn money where I didn't have to do more work. And this was the plan. So if you're starting out online with creating content, my advice to you would be do it with one platform. If you're going to do YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, I think I would do one first. Grow a following on one first and then utilize them to follow you over to maybe TikTok or anything like that as well. Every platform is different. YouTube, you get quite good engagement and proper comments that ask you about electrical work. TikTok, you get a shed load of abuse. Facebook, people are a bit rough as well to you sort of thing. If you do something slightly wrong or you say something wrong, like in the beginning of my videos, I used to say Pharrell. I put the Pharrells on the end of the cable. Well, yeah, I know it's Ferals, but the way I pronounced it was wrong. People slated me, which you've got to have a bit of thick skin. And don't care, this is it. You don't worry about people's comments. There's so many people out there. Out of one person that gives you a rubbish comment, there's going to be 10 that are proper interested. The thing is, people that want to give you these bad comments, they're not the sort of people that are going to watch all your videos anyway. The person that doesn't comment just sits back and enjoys your content and probably follows your content, listens to your content. And this is the type of person that you're more likely help. I know for a fact that there's people that probably don't comment on my videos, but they'll send me an email. They'll ask for my number and we'll have a conversation about, right, how do you become an electrician? How do you build a business? How do you grow a following on social media? Just all these questions that I get asked that I'm more than happy to answer to anybody. And this is the whole reason that I'm possibly creating this podcast, to try and help people as well that want to grow a following on social media for whatever reason they want to do it. And another tip is to whatever you're doing, whether you're building your business, whether you're building a following online, is to have an email list. Basically have an email list of where if you create a video on maybe YouTube, you can send it out to people to say, look, I've got a new video. Everyone will come along and watch it, and you'll get paid more for the more views you get. And if you're growing your business, having an email list is a great advantage to be able to send out a newsletter. Like I say, with the email nails, I'll leave a link to 10 email nails in the show notes below of the type of emails that I send out to customers that have generated me more work over time. And I've never really advertised in the past, say, 15 years because it's kept me inundated with work. So until next time, I'll see you again.